if you want to be a social media influencer, if you want to be a Twitch streamer, if you want to be a basketball player, I don't care. There's a simple formula that I found. What I want to do is I want to do a little bit of reflecting today on this is something I've been thinking about. I'm actually going to start with like 3 or 4 things that I have been personally reflecting on lately about what I've learned growing up in the entrepreneur space. Because 3 months ago, I was a different person. 6 months ago, I was a different person. 8 months ago, I was a different person. And 3 years ago, I was a different person. And I've evolved a lot every single year, right? So one of the things that I want to talk about, and not just the things, but the reason I want to bring this up is because a lot of you guys don't really understand what it takes to become successful as an entrepreneur. Because like the equation's really simple. I'm going to pull it up. This equation's actually simple. So like if you guys want to be successful, right? Top things that I'm going to tell you today are probably the real true keys to success. In any business, any field. If you don't even want to be running a business, if you want to be a social media influencer, if you want to be a Twitch streamer, if you want to be a basketball player, I don't care. There's a simple formula that I found. And we could cross off some things that like some people will say, well, you have to be lucky. Wrong. There is a level of luck that goes into it. I'm not going to lie. There is a level of luck because like there's a level of luck that you're on this stream right now. There's a level of luck that, you're alive. So there is a level of serendipitousness that goes into becoming successful in life. Now, it's a very simple formula. It means the right actions over a consistent period of time. That's what success is. So success, if we remove the definition that your brain first holds on what success is, I truly believe this. The right actions over a consistent period of time. Like, so what this means is it doesn't mean that let's go over what the wrong ways to think what success is, right? The wrong ways to think is the perfect idea. A lot of people think success is perfect timing. And timing, your idea, and what you do is a part of it, but it's wrong. So like, I can look at the marketplace right now and say, well, there was times in my life where I had really solid solid opportunity, like an opportunity. If I would have taken it, I would have absolutely crushed, right? But the reality is I didn't take that. So I could think the reason I'm not successful is because I didn't have that perfect timing with the perfect idea back in the past. That's what a lot of people think. A lot of people think that if you could go back in the past, they'd be infinitely successful. I know most of you guys on this call probably have a thought like that. You guys have an idea. Oh, if I would have thought about that 5 years ago, the idea I have now, or something I was starting to do then, if I started a year before, I'd be way more successful. It's a bad way to look at it. So the wrong ways to think are the perfect idea, perfect timing, lack of resources, abundance of resources. This is what some people think. This is why a lot of companies that raise money fail. Is because they think if they just had a couple $100,000 to run the company, it would change everything. And that's also a terrible way to think about business. So the wrong ways to think about the success formula is people are successful if they have the perfect idea, if they have the perfect timing, or an abundance of resources, or mentors, right? That's another one. People think, oh, well, that guy had the best mentors. Mentors / rich parents, and then you just have got lucky. So success is a simple formula. And the reason I say the right actions over a consistent period of time generally yield pretty consistent results. The reason I typed that out is so you guys can remember this statement, because it's something that I think about all the time when I wonder why I'm not better at things. The right actions over a consistent period of time generally yields extremely consistent results. So if you want to talk about anything, right? If you want to talk about basketball, or Nick, give me a topic that you like people like generally want to get better at.
Relationships.
Sure, relationships. So there is success and there is failure in relationships. You can be a terrible partner to someone. You could be a terrible child. You could be a terrible friend to people, right? And what that means is what this formula truly means, right? What this formula truly means is if you do the right things on a consistent basis. So I don't mean, what this formula doesn't mean is if you wake up feeling motivated one day to take your girlfriend out on a date. You wake up feeling motivated tomorrow to finally clean the house. If your significant other has been saying that's something that bothers them. Those are all like if you do that once in a while, it doesn't make you a good partner. What makes you a good partner is doing the right actions, even if they're small, on a consistent period of time. So if we talk about that in business, right? If you want to say, like, let's say a successful Amazon business, right? We have a 6-figure store doing $100,000 in sales per month, right? It took, that store has 300 full-time operating items, right? That's a full-time item selling, right? That's like a full maxed out store. We're doing $100,000 per month with 300 items that are selling, monthly selling items. Let's say it took us 1,000 items of product research to find the 300 that make 100K in sales. So it took us 1,000 items of product research, okay, to find the 300 selling items that make the sales of $100,000 per month, a successful Amazon business. Well, the reality is nobody found these 1,000 items in a day, in a single month, in a single week, in a single 6-month time span. Maybe 6 months is realistic for this, because it's what we do because we're experts at it. But for you guys, how this process would actually look if this was what your store looked like, how this would actually look, I'm gonna move this that way. How this would actually look would be if you wanted to hit those 300 selling items a day, you know that you're gonna have to go through 1,000 items. Well, the reality would be you would spend, you would do 3 items, high quality of product research a day. I've been telling this to students forever, but 3 items of high quality product research a day over the course of 1 year, aka 365 days, would yield you 1,000 items, which you would find generally your 300 high quality, consistent selling items that make up your $100,000 in sales per month. So like, that's the most blatant way to look at it. So we can look at life in any way like this, right? Like, so this is the exact reason why most people aren't successful, and most that are successful are seemingly not special, right? That's why. That's the exact reason. The reason they're seemingly not special is because they haven't done things so different than everyone else, right? They haven't been so much better than everyone else. They're not so different. Like, they're not literally like a fucking vampire. Like, they don't have superhuman skills. They don't have superhuman IQ. Generally, really successful people just stay really consistent at things that get paid, right? And so, like, generally, if you look at successful people, you look at, Grant Cardone, you look at a sales guy, right? This is the thing. If you look at Grant Cardone, or I think a better option would be to use Wolf of Wall Street. If you look at Wolf of Wall Street, right? And he's the top selling guy ever, but he fucking sucked. He got trained. He worked all the time, nonstop, every single day, and he got good at selling. Well, that skill set took him one direction, right? And then he went to jail. Well, those skills of working hard and selling people, even though he had the wrong intention, so the right actions, right, over a consistent period of time, but he was doing like the wrong actions, led him to a bad outcome. Then he took the right actions over a long, consistent period of time. And if you look at the Wolf of Wall Street now, Jordan Belfort on Instagram, you will see that this guy is literally on jets all the time. You will see this guy has a very successful business podcast now. You will see that all of those things over the long period of his life, the skills he built, the consistency of day in and day out of that is what truly, truly builds success. So no matter how bad you guys, what's up, Hackstar? No matter how bad everyone wants success, no matter how bad you guys like really want to level up in life, it really will just take consistency. And like, it could be as simple as, for example, like I wanted to get better at my aiming in video games. So I started spending 10 minutes a day doing aim training software, right? Like Like literally, I open up Kovacs. If you guys are gamers, if you're not, and I would spend 10 minutes a day doing aim training. Like, and I can do it mindlessly. It's so simple to get better at things, right? It's so simple. If you spend 10 minutes a day reading the best business books, and you spend another 10 minutes a day on 30 minutes a day working out, and if you spend 15 minutes a day reaching out to people on Instagram that you could network with, and you spend it's so nonsensical to me that people are not willing to invest 10 minutes here and 20 minutes there. Everyone thinks that like, hey dude, if you want to be the best, you got to go 12 hours a day, 15 hours a day. But the reality is compounded success generally outbeats, right? It generally beats hard explosive work. Like I can't tell you a single person that's left like all these people that I what's a mild one? These are all going to be hard. Like there's very little people from the start of my journey who have reached my level of success, and that's because I don't outwork myself. Like this is a real true key, and this is like one of the biggest things that I've lived for is, Nick will tell you there's days where I go 10, 12 hours. Nick's my number one business partner. He's in this call with me. There's days where I go 10 or 12 hours, and then there's days where I go 30 minutes. And so, but what it is you always will see at least 30 minutes. You always will see at least 20 minutes. You always will see some level of action from me. And so now over 7 years, you can now see how that compounded affected my life and that affected my skills, right? Something as simple as like, if you guys see the little corner, look, this is just an aim train. Like, it's just like, but I decided, here's the difference. But I decided that was one thing I wanted to get good at. So when you decide what you want to get good at in life, you have to just set your boundaries, and you set habitual like work ethics. And once you do that, you guys will realize that like success will come a lot easier. Like if you guys just stay consistent.